Please do not interfere with them. Any emergency would be signalled by 7 short and 1 long blasts from the ship's whistle. Please do not stand on the railings or the seats, and for the comfort of your fellow passengers, avoid running about and keep opening and shutting of doors to a minimum. Do take care of the environment and place all garbage in the bins provided. Do not throw anything overboard. Normal licensing laws apply, but remember there are special dangers on board ship, so consume alcohol in moderation. Thank you.
Welcome to Loch Ness by Jacobite. Join us as we sail down one of the world's most famous waterways and hear about its history, legends, and the people who have shaped its story. Today's cruise takes us into the breathtaking expanse of Loch Ness, the largest body of fresh water in Great Britain. On a clear day, you can see the mountains of the Nevis Range, where the loch disappears beyond the horizon. The loch has welcomed many famous visitors over the centuries, including St. Columba, kings and would-be kings, famous royals, and of course, monstrous fish. Look to the shores and see famous landmarks in sight. Look to the skies and see wildlife in abundance. Look beyond the ship's bow and see some of the most beautiful scenery in Scotland. Look down into the dark waters and who knows what you might find.
Below deck, you will find sonar screens which will help you see what lies beneath the water. As we progress, you can see how the depth of the water changes, and you may even see strange shapes move across the screens. These are normally fish swimming below us, but you never know when you might see a shape which cannot be explained. Enjoy your cruise, marvel at the surrounding natural beauty, and listen to our story. Sail down Loch Ness, notice the very steep sides to the left and right. Loch Ness lies on a geological fault line, which essentially cuts Scotland into 2 halves. The Great Glen, as it is known, was flooded following the melting of Ice Age glaciers around 11,000 years ago, creating Loch Ness and several other lochs along the fault line. Loch Ness measures almost 23 miles, or 36 kilometres at its longest, and around 1 mile, or 1.6 kilometres wide. It is not the largest Scottish loch, nor the deepest. However, combining its length and depth, it holds the largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain. If you were to combine the water in all the lakes of England and Wales, Loch Ness would still have more. It holds an estimated 7.5 billion cubic metres of water. That's enough to fill 3 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. At its deepest point, Loch Ness is around 230 metres deep. That's twice the height of the Forth Rail Bridge and deeper than much of the North Sea. Watch the sonar screens to see if you can discover where the deepest section lies.
Even hardy Scots would think twice before swimming in Loch Ness, as the loch remains at around 6 degrees Celsius, with only the surface water getting a little warmer in the summer. Having said this, in the winter, the water is often warmer than the air temperature, as the temperature remains fairly steady throughout the year. The loch does not freeze over.
If you look overboard, you may see that the water is very dark, almost brown. This is caused by the peat content of the surrounding soil. Once you travel beyond 30 metres in depth, the loch is a dark abyss, with very poor visibility, making it a perfect hiding place for anything that wishes to remain unseen. is not able to support the vast quantities of life you might expect. Due to the high peat content of the water, it is nutrient poor. However, it is oxygen rich, which means species can survive at amazing depths. Much of the underwater life can be found either along the shallow shoreline or within the first 30 meters below the surface, where sunlight can penetrate the darkness.
In the crushing pressure of the gloomy abyss, 64 species have been found, some of them Ice Age relics. The Arctic char is one of the most common fish to be found in the loch, although if you are hoping to cast a line during your time here, you may find them slippery customers. Distant Ice Age relatives of the Atlantic salmon, they are rarely caught as they swim so deep. Along the shallower waters of the shore, you may find salmon, brown trout and eels. And where fish are easily caught, you will also find hungry wildlife, such as goosanders, otter and osprey. However, there is one species which has always managed to evade would-be predators, tourists and scientists, and that is the loch's most famous resident, Nessie. Loch Ness by Jacobite takes its name from the Jacobites, those who believed the lawful kings of Scotland were James VII and II and his descendants, who had been ousted from the British throne during the 1689 rebellion. James belonged to the Stuart dynasty, who had ruled Scotland since the 14th century and England since the early 17th century. The chief of the Grants, who held Urquhart Castle, was not a Jacobite, and he and his 200 men held out until the Jacobite rising was defeated in 1690. On leaving the castle in 1692, the soldiers blew up some of the buildings to ensure it was never taken by the enemy again, and the castle was never rebuilt. In 1715, a great storm brought down the Great Tower, leaving the ruins you see today.
The story of the Jacobites did not end there. They fought throughout the 18th century to restore the Stuarts to the throne, and much of their support came from the Highlands. Prince Charles Edward Stuart led the last Jacobite rebellion in 1745. He was known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, thanks to his boyish good looks and his way with the ladies. After some early battle successes, the Jacobite army returned to the Highlands and faced the government forces nearby on Culloden Moor, just outside Inverness, in 1746. The bloody Battle of Culloden that followed was the last to be fought on British soil and brought the Jacobite cause to an end.
During our journey, we have been travelling along a geological fault line called the Great Glen, which was created by continental drift around 410 million years ago and carved by mighty glaciers into its current dramatic shape. It is not unusual to experience seismic activity in the Great Glen. Earthquakes happen on a fairly regular basis, although the activity is minor. In 1816, Inverness was shaken by, according to eyewitnesses, a smart shock of an earthquake which threw down the chimney pots of many houses, twisted the old steeple, and set the bells a-ringing. The largest earthquake to date occurred in 1901, when the Caledonian Canal was cracked close to Duffgareth Loch, and a number of neighbouring buildings were damaged. Despite the low level of activity, nearby infrastructure has to be designed to withstand minor quakes. The Keswick Bridge, which crosses the Murray Firth, has seismic buffers built into the design. Earthquakes continue to be recorded all along the Great Glen to the present day.
St. Columba in the 6th century, stories have spread far and wide about the Loch Ness monster. Tales of kelpies or water spirits were common in Highland culture.
Many believe Nessie is one of the Ice Age relics left here by the retreating waters of the glacier thousands of years ago. Over the centuries, there have been reports of monster fish being washed up on shore or terrorizing local fishermen. In 1932, a lady claimed to have seen a crocodile on the River Ness. Descriptions are varied. Some say Nessie is over 12 metres long, that she has a head shaped like a horse. Some say she could be an ancient species of sturgeon. Others, that she lives in secret caves hidden underwater on the loch sides.
The story took an intriguing turn in 1933, when the manageress of the Drumnadrochit Hotel claimed to see something in the loch resembling a whale. The local newspaper ran an article called Strange Spectacle on Loch Ness, in which the term Loch Ness Monster was first used. The legend was reborn, and soon there was a flurry of similar sightings, mainly of a plesiosaur-type animal with a long neck. The monster was nicknamed Nessie by the locals.
Media attention was growing, and soon everyone wanted to find Nessie. Even famous big game hunters, like the wonderfully named Marmaduke Wetherell, Sir Edward Mountain. A wealthy insurance man even took a holiday in the area in 1934 and paid 20 unemployed men from Inverness to be watchers for the monster. There were no genuine monster sightings on this occasion.
Side of the loch from Urquhart Castle, there was a small village called Foyers, famous for a very special natural feature. In the 19th century, many visitors were attracted by the Falls of Foyers, a series of 2 waterfalls which combined and tumbled down 36 metres. They are also famous for becoming the power behind the first large-scale commercial hydroelectric scheme in the UK in 1896. One of the visitors to the falls was so inspired he wrote a poem about it, on the spot, in pencil. That visitor was Robert Burns, the national baird of Scotland. He came here in 1787. He wrote,
Among the leafy hills and ragged woods, the roaring Foyers pours his bossy floods, till full he dashes on the rocky mounds, where, through a shapeless breach, a stream resounds. As high in air the bursting torrents flow, as deep recoiling surges foam below. Thrown down the rock, the whitening sheet descends, and Bulo's echoes hear, astonished reigns. Dim seen, through rising mists and ceaseless showers, the hoary cavern, wide surrounding lowers. Still, through the gap the struggling river toils, and still, below, the horrid cauldron boils.
Il va demander